So it looks like Meek Mill is finally ready to stop fighting the internet about his relationship with Diddy because he just admitted to attending Diddy's freak-off parties. Not only that, but he's also snitching hard on other celebrities that he saw at Diddy's parties, and he claims to have some receipts to back it up. But it looks like the reports about how some of the biggest celebrities in Hollywood were at Diddy's free parties, and Meek Mill just gave up some of the biggest celebrities to save his own skin and get the fans out of his back. The list is quite stunning since Meek Mill arrived with all the deeds. Meek Mill has been fighting a losing battle against the internet since Lil Rod's lawsuit exposed him as Diddy's boy toy. He went on a rant against these supposed haters on Twitter, saying, "I'm from Philly, I don't do nose candy or freaky molly, and nobody won't ever offer me that because I'm that heavy. No man or white will ever approach me about gay activity, and the whole place won't get flipped. I woke up seeing this on every blog like they know I'm coming." He also said, "That's why I always come around all these industry nines with my real friends. You never catch me around anybody from the industry alone. I can't even hold a combo without my dog stepping in the room. It's been that way." He continued, "When I got a girl around me, I'm effing on hurt twice a day. Ask some of your favorites. T don't control me, but it's like a high one love to the gay people. But that juicy P does it for me. I don't run red lights to acquire that sensation. I all weird on here like devils now." When Diddy got arrested, fans started talking about how Meek's sugar daddy was going to jail, and he did not take it well at all. He accused people of trying to take a black man down, saying, "My voice so powerful as a black man from the ghetto worldwide, they want it gone. I'm a real king straight out the trenches, under the supervision of no human. They learn how to harm can't stop us of brands from bots and campaigns like politicians." But it appeared like the reports of Diddy being in so much trouble that he was denied. Bill has put the fear of God in Meek, and he is now trying to backtrack, offering up other names to protect himself. Hey, as long as they're dragging somebody else right, and not him, because he's been to jail, and you don't want to go back now. We all know some of the big names that have been accused of being at these parties, so we're not going to talk about them, but I'm talking about the likes of Jay-Z and Beyonce. Usher, you know, the usual Dell that everybody's been talking about, but then Meek Mill came with some real tea. One of the first names that he offered up was Mary J. Blige. This is a very interesting choice though, because fans have noticed how Mary has been going above and beyond to distance herself from Diddy, and it's worked for a good little while, until Meek Mill tried to expose her for being at these freak-offs. And going by Mary J. Blige's history with Diddy, I guess we shouldn't be so surprised that she was there beside him. If you thought that Diddy and Jay-Z were tipping weight until you hear about him and Mary J. Blige, cause these two go way back to the early 90s. And Diddy was even the mastermind behind some of her first albums, including her debut, the 411, so we're talking about a friendship that lasted over 33 years. That's some real ride or die energy right there. But Diddy has always given her her flowers for being one of the greatest performers and vocalists of all time. In an interview, he said Mary J. Blige lasted over 33 years. That's some real ride or die energy right there. But Diddy has always given her her flowers for being one of the greatest performers and vocalists of all time. In an interview, he said Mary J. Blige is one of the greatest storytellers in R&B history. She created a lane for women around the world to speak their truth to power. So nobody deserves this success more than her. More than being my sister and my best friend, she will forever be a pioneer and the queen of hip-hop soul who remains an unstoppable force that can accomplish anything. She sets her mind to nice words from Diddy to Mary, right? But things took a turn in the late 90s to the early 2000s. Diddy and Mary J. Blige had a major falling out and were caught up in some serious beef, barely speaking for years. Eventually Mary came and were caught up in some serious beef, barely speaking for years. Eventually Mary came out and owned up to it, saying that the drama was all on her because she was a hot mess and just couldn't get her life together. She said the reason why we split up is me not understanding the business the way I needed to understand it at the time. She explained he had a label, he had a female artist, he had a biggie. But during the time I was really dogging myself, I was a mess on drugs. Any smart man or business, this man would have moved away from me. It felt like he was becoming distant, but looking back, I now understand why I wasn't delivering correctly. I wasn't taking care of my health, so how can he roll his dice on me? Well, Diddy eventually forgave her, and they patched things up, and things were great between them again, but now it's a whole different story. Once Diddy got ready to by the feds, Mary switched up on him big time, saying she burned that bridge ages ago, but she didn't waste time, and she posted a crypto message on Instagram saying, "Unfortunately, a lot of you all met me when I lacked boundaries and was a people pleaser. Let me reintroduce myself. I burn bridges as needed." She said what she said, and she did not stutter. Now this had some folks in shock, but then again, a lot of people weren't that surprised. Ain't nobody trying to catch no RICO case, but plus rumors have been going around that Mary J. Blige might have gotten the Cassie treatment while she was with Diddy. Allegedly, he was violent with her, put hands on her, and even allegedly forced her to use a strap-off for his pleasure. Reports say that she didn't want to do it and would break down in tears afterward. And if that wasn't wild enough, there were claims that Diddy got her pregnant but put pressure on her to terminate it, because he didn't want a baby with her. That trauma hit her hard, and it supposedly has something to do with why she decided that she never wanted kids of her own. She hinted at this in an interview where she said, "I have nieces and nephews forever, and I'm always watching how people are scrambling for babysitters. I don't want to go through that. I like my freedom to go and move and do what I wish to do. I don't want to have to tend to someone all the time right now. That's where I'm at. But I don't think it's having kids going to happen." But that's not all, because, Mary's been friends with Diddy even after all the drama. So why does she switch up on Diddy all of a sudden? Well, according to Meek Mill, it's because she allegedly got into some messy stuff with young boys that did these freak-offs even though she was a full-grown woman. Supposedly. The wild part about this, though, is that supposedly Mary's freak-offs have been right under our eyes the entire time. So for those of you who may not know, Mary J. Bull had a pretty controversial relationship with singer Danny Boy when he was just 16 and she was 24. Danny recently opened up about it in an interview, spilling the tea that their first intimate encounter went down in 1995. After the Source Awards, he claimed that he and Mary were at a party with a few folks, including Diddy's baby mama, Misa Hilton. After a couple of drinks, he headed back to his room, but then someone contacted him back, stating a lady wanted to see him. When he got into the room, it was only Mary and Misa in the room.
We was talking, I think I left out, and Suge called me back up to the room. He said, come back upstairs, man, or old girl want to see you. That's old girl. Think I'm one of the other girls. So I know the girl that he in the bed with. So I went in, he closed the door and shit, and I sit down and I start talking to Mary. In the inside, I'm about to lose it, because I'm actually sitting there talking to Mary. She's sitting on the couch and shit, and we ordered some food and some more drinks.
He went on to claim that Mary got very touchy with him and was actively flirting with him. He also claimed that she had put her head in his lap, judged him, and that things got very, very intense, like I'm 15 or 16 years old and she's lying on the couch, and I'm sitting on the other end, and she laid down on the couch and put her head in my lap. Like, damn, he came talking about wanting me to come back up here and you on my lap, and I'm sitting and I'm wondering. I'm like, okay, what is this going to end up to? And she stayed a couple more hours. We decided to go in the other room because it was a sweep. We went in another room and laid down, and she laid down with me. She kind of backed up against me, and every time she backed up against me, I would move away. And they ended up doing the nasty. But it wasn't the only time, since Danny added that it evolved into a full-blown affair, with Mary flying him out to New York so they could do the nasty. She also allegedly fooled him into thinking that he was her boyfriend, even though she also had a thing going on with Tupac at the time and allegedly needed to go out to New York and visit her a couple more times. Well, that's why I was kind of confused when I heard Kurt saying that Mary was a pot girl, because at that time she was my girl. At that time, I'm 15 and 16 years old, and she was flying me in to see her. And you know what it is when a girl backs up on you. Young and underscore I'm trying to show her that she ain't phasing me well. Meek Mill is now claiming that Mary was right there beside Diddy, and she allegedly had the time of her life at these parties, which is why she was quick to distance herself from Diddy once it was clear that the feds were on Diddy's tail and would dig out more people who were tied to his parties. Now, another name that Meek Mill brought up was Rick Ross. But this is interesting because a man who claimed to have been one of Diddy's freak-off during the questioning, partners confirmed to the police that Rick Ross and Diddy reportedly had an affair.
Combs.
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call yourself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
I had with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would I want to do with Cassie. I was like a slave, okay? For them, that's what I was. That's all right? I called her. And I came back and I seen for the Urbex and won. But Diddy and Ross, which they good buddies, okay? They're gay.
Who?
Both. Diddy and Ross. And Khaled. They're all gay, okay?
DJ Khaled, Rick Ross,
yeah.
and P. Diddy?
Yeah.
They all gay?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's weird, however, that Rick Ross was one of the first names to show up in all this turmoil, particularly because he's gone out of his way to keep ties with affiliation Diddy on the low when people are talking about Diddy's antics. Rick's name usually doesn't come up and make the cut, but that doesn't mean the whisperers weren't there. His baby mama, Fr3ak0ffs, who's keeping her foot firmly on his neck, has been trying to expose his connection to Diddy for a minute, but not a lot of people took her seriously. She's infamous for dragging R.I. Ross for filth on social media, so you can see why people might be skeptical. Just a couple of weeks ago, she dropped a bomb claiming that Rick was allegedly getting his cheeks clapped by Diddy right under our nose. "You big my will, I want you to talk. Don't be scared now. No Diddy, huh? You scared now? Ha, I know we all on those tapes. Jets no more, you running out of hose now, go over. There and get to your hood, go ride the bike with him, you fat y'all, you already know. That T is not going to hold back, she's been dragging Rick Ross for Phil since day one, and honestly, he hasn't had a moment of peace since they got together. But this time it looks like she might have been onto something because Diddy's alleged victim backed up her claims, and Meek Mill is now claiming that Rick Ross was allegedly a constant face at Diddy's parties, but y'all, there's still more. According to Meek Mill, Cuba Gooding Jr. was also living it up at Diddy's parties, and honestly, it's not that shocking at all. But Fr3ak kind of spilled this tea in his lawsuit, saying Cuba Gooding was right there at Diddy's gatherings, but it's not like Cuba was just standing in the corner. Liana said that Cuba was apparently enjoying the time of his life at those events. And TMZ even reported that Jones says Diddy introduced him to Cuba Gooding Jr. on Diddy's boat, and Cuba allegedly started.
Like 15, 16 years old, and she laying on the couch, and I'm sitting on the other end, and she laid down on the couch and put her head in my lap. Yeah, you come back up there and now she on my lap. I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, what is this scenario up to? And she stayed a couple more hours, and we decided to go in the other room because it was asleep. We went in another room and lay down, and she lay down with me. She kind of like backed up against me, and every time she backed up against me, I would move away and shit, you know.
Stroking and fondling Mr. Jones's legs, his upper inner thighs near his groin, the small of his back near his buttocks and his shoulders rod, also dropped a picture of Cuba getting all touchy. Philly. And yeah, why all, I got to admit it's looking suspenseful. You know what they say, though birds of a feather flock together, and these two were flocking now. Before all this Diddy drama started, Cuba had already faced multiple accusations of inappropriate behavior with women because, back in 2014, his wife of 20 years, Sarah, she didn't exactly reveal why, but the rumor was swirling that Cuba's infidelity had finally pushed her over the edge. And word in the streets was that she found out that he was allegedly as an other woman and decided she wasn't sticking around for none of that kind of mess. But after Sarah left, it was like Cu's behavior went off on the rails even more. A wave of women started stepping forward, accusing him of being downright inappropriate, and to this day over 30 women have made allegations against him. Like, who knows how many others are out there? Just keeping quiet. Because it's giving Diddy 2.0 vibes? And honestly, it's a wild mess to unpack. But one of his alleged victims exposed him, saying that at about midnight on March 1st, Cuba Gooding Jr. wailed into the bar we were at and proceeded to number of the women there. The harassment occurred when women would be taking pictures with him. He would grab butt cheeks during the picture taking. And when women reacted negatively to that, he would proceed to either touch women's or tell them that there's even a video that shows him touching a woman's chest without her consent at a music bar. And just when you thought it couldn't get any wilder, yet another woman came forward. Klyman Cuba allegedly said her back in 2013. She said they met at a hotel in Soho, and he invited her to grab a drink while they were sipping on their cocktails. He supposedly said he needed to change clothes and invited her up to his room once they were there. She claimed he said her Cuba was arrested for this in 2019, and I'm sure you remember the video of this arrest. And it went viral and quickly became a meme sensation on social media. There he is. That was not the only lawsuit that he faced, because he also resolved another criminal case in Manhattan without going to trial, pleading guilty to a single charge stemming from an accusation of kissing a woman without her consent. There was also another case where the woman accused Cuba of battery and the intentional infliction of emotional distress, ending with the judge ordering
to go out to New York and visit her a couple more times. But you know, that's why I was kind of confused when I heard Kurt saying that Mary was pot girl. At that time, she was my girl. That's like, I'm 15, 16 years old. She flying me in to see her. You know, girl back like, you young and shit. I'm trying to show the other. Yeah, she ain't phasing me.
He negotiated a plea arrangement to escape jail time for the Soho say, admitting guilty to a lesser charge. Cuba's lawyer attempted to defend his behavior, saying he's very outgoing, he's very friendly, he's very jovial. I guess the word is sometimes he's frisky, but he's not inappropriate here. He respects women. I've known him for over 30 years and never been charged or convicted of any crimes. I don't think it's going to create any pattern or affect his case. But just as the trial was about to start, it was announced that Cuba and the woman had decided to settle out of court because they wanted to avoid a messy trial. Well, Cuba down to party with Diddy isn't surprising at all. We already knew he had a taste for that freaky side of things, but now another name that keeps popping up is Oprah Winfrey. And let me tell you, the internet is not surprised by this, because Oprah is as controversial as they come now. Not going to lie, however, Meek Mill is pretty bold to name Oprah, because we all know how Oprah has reportedly gone after people who try to come for her. Before all this Diddy drama unfolded, Oprah had her own controversy tied to a Brazilian man named John of God, who claimed to be some kind of healer. Oprah promoted him extra hard and even went as far as to feature him on her show multiple times, declaring him the real deal. It's like she really put her stamp of approval on him. And now with everything swirling around Diddy, people are reviewing the link and questioning what was actually going on and sure would ever happen. One of the most prominent spiritual healers in the world seldom speaks to anybody on camera. John of God agreed to sit down with me under a mango tree on the grounds of the casa. A group of his patients gathered to watch. However, it took a wild turn when John of God was exposed for some seriously messed up stuff. He was accused of keeping women chained up against their will, forcibly impregnating them, and then selling babies for profit of their organs. Once the truth came out, Ora didn't waste any time trying to distance herself from him. She deleted all the videos of them together and acted like they never crossed paths. And let's not forget her connection to Harvey Weinstein, another shady man in her circle. It makes you really question why she's always seeming to hang out with these problematic men. Plus, British actress Katie and Noble once called out Oprah and Naomi Campbell, stating that they helped Weinstein pull some nasty tricks on her, which led her to being as a it's a lot to unpack. And people are definitely giving her the side-eye, people in which I admired dearly. He was with Naomi Campbell. He had Oprah Winfrey there with him, who entered the room and was swinging off his arm and just seemed like a very dear friend now. Let's not forget about J-Lo, because even though she and Diddy broke up over 24 years ago, she's still somehow tangled up in this whole freaky situation, and according to a blind item baking the
Will, I want you to talk. Don't be scared now. No Diddy, huh? You scared now, huh? I know y'all on them tapes. Freaky I know you is. 10 churn have. It's time to show them churns now. I ain't gonna let off here. See it. Nobody don't care to see the jets no more. You running out of hoes now. Go over there and get Diddy a hug. Go ride the bike with him, you fat.
Y'all, you already know that Tia is not finna hold back. She's been dragging Rick Ross for Phil since day one.
Rounds 50 Cent apparently had some damaging material on J-Lo. According to this blind item, 50 Cent is reportedly giving wires to the Hollywood Friends that the FBI has naughty tapes of Jennifer Lopez having intercourse with underage girls and boys at the P. Diddy parties, and Lopez was caught in several naughty tapes that were seized by the FBI in the P. Diddy house raids. That's the reason that Ben Nack and Nims are getting divorced. As the FBI informed Day Lake of the videos and future indictments coming, fans are shocked at how many CBS are allegedly involved in this. They've been leaving comments left and right, saying stuff like, in other news, this Diddy thing is going to take hundreds of big celebs down. We'll be left listening to Celine Dion and the Mango Group. They don't want to say this, but Mary J. Bligs no more than what she wants to say. All those around or associated with Diddy should all go and serve time. Let's hope Diddy takes Oprah, J-Lo, the Kardashians, Beyoncé, and Jay-Z, and all other crooks and traffickers, entertainment moguls, celebs, politicians, and government officials down the drain with him. And I feel Diddy is going to snitch on everybody. Why all? This situation is getting crazier every second. And I got to know what y'all think about this. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and then check out this next video.